Jai Hind दोस्तों. From today onwards, we are going to start a new series that is the daily news analysis of the Hindu, and the newspaper that is the current affairs part in any examination plays a vital role when we read newspaper. So, reading newspaper in exam point of view is very important. So, I'm going to tell what all articles are important and how you relate the current affairs topic with the static part and how you should read it and revise it regularly so that you can solve easily the current affairs related questions in examination. So let's begin with the first article. The first article is recently Justice Ramanna will be the next CGI, that is Chief Justice of India, and he is the 48th Chief Justice of India. The important is he is the 48th Chief Justice of India. Currently, the Chief Justice is Justice Bobde, that is, he is the 47th Chief Justice of India. Now, here it is a current affairs part. The rest of the part in the article is nowhere related to the exam point of view. So, we should relate this part with the static section of the polity. How we have to relate? First, how the CJI is appointed, what is the process, and all. That way, we are going to relate the static and current affairs, and we'll bridge a chain. We'll bridge a chain system so that we can relate and answer current affairs topic questions in the examination. So, the first and the foremost, the Chief Justice of India will be appointed by the President of India, and the Chief Justice is selected on the basis of the seniority in the Supreme Court judges, and also out of multiple senior judges from the Supreme Court, the selection of the Chief Justice of India is done through collegium system. Now you will be not knowing that is what is collegium system. That is, the collegium system is a system by which an appointment, transfer, and promotion of the judges of Supreme Court is carried out. In collegium system, a Chief Justice will be the member. Along with it, four senior most Supreme Court judges will be the member of the collegium system. So this is the important information you can get from this article. Now, let's move to the next one. Here, the peaceful polling in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Pondicherry, Assam, and Bengal, that is recent election voting has been carried out recently there, is completely political issue. So from here, you should relate how you should relate it to the important exam point of view. Here is normally the election commission conducts this election commission conducts the election of these states. So here the powers, the authorities of election commission is very important when it comes to the exam point of view. So basically under Article 324 of the Constitution, the election commission is mentioned, and it is one of the constitutional body. Here in the election commission, that it will be headed by the Chief Election Commission, and he acts as a chairman of election commission. And also his tenure will be decided by the president, and he will be appointed by the president itself. Along with the Chief Election Commissioner, 3 election commissioner is appointed. From here, you will get that election commission is a multi-member body. Now, as that of Chief Election Commissioner, the election commissioner's qualification is not prescribed in the Constitution. Chief Election Commissioner and Election Commissioner holds the office for a term of 6 years or 65 years, and he is allowed to work in government after retirement. Also, there are a few other important points regarding the election commission. That is, it is a quasi-judicial body. Election commission has a power to hold election in any parliamentary constituencies wherever the commission feels that the appropriate, even beyond the 6 months specified by the Constitution of India. Also, election commission's decision during the model code of conduct cannot be challenged in any court of law by any parties or individuals. And most important is the election commission cannot deregister the political parties. He has the power to just register the political party. And this is an important information regarding the election commission you can get from this article. Next is the Russia calls for inclusive solution for Afghan crisis. Here, as all are aware that there has been crisis in Afghanistan between the Afghan government as well as Taliban. So there is two-party conflict in Afghan government. Because of that, a regional conflict, regional we can say peace has been hampered. Here, the Russia and US are playing a major role in order to bring a standstill in the Afghan government in Afghanistan. So, from this article, Russia is stressing to bring a solution for an inclusive solution which has to be accepted by all the parties in Afghanistan to end the crisis. Here, the information is political. Now, from that article, you have to take the information that has to be related to the India. How the Afghan settlement or a solution, inclusive solution will be helpful to India, because this type will be helpful for your during your SSB interviews, for your group discussion as well as personal interviews. Here, the role of India, because as Afghanistan's major importer of goods is being done through India, and India has a vast market in Afghanistan. Along with that, it also builds a chain system in Central Asia. As Afghanistan, as in Afghanistan, from decades there has been a conflict. There has been conflict between Taliban and Afghanistan government, and has been no development at all in the region. Because of that, it not only hampers the Afghanistan directly, but indirectly it hampers the India's external trade and also connection with the Central Asia. India, with the help of Chabahar Port, trying to connect Afghanistan directly through sea route as well as land route, that may be helpful to have a better penetration of goods in the Afghanistan. But until the crisis of Afghanistan comes to an end, there will be no that growth in the trade of India. So here, the Afghan settlement of Afghanistan crisis has to be can play a very important role when it comes to the India's external trade point of view. The next article it is an editorial article which says the relationship of India and Pakistan, as because of recent acts of Pakistan as well as India, that is the terrorist attacks from the Pakistan, and as well as India's retaliation attack has hampered that is the relationship between India and Pakistan. Here in this article, they have pointed out that Pakistan and India are showing a signal, that is a soft signal for a better ties, and slammed the brakes on the India-Pakistan dialogue process. Here, the move began with the ceasefire announcement at LOC in February. Here, the article stresses that the Pakistan is, that is, it is ruled by multi-power. That is, here the Prime Minister of Pakistan, the President of Pakistan, as well as the Army General. Here, the Pakistan is ruled by multi-power, and also the Pakistan is unclear. That is, what the Pakistan's decision regarding the import is not better coordinated between themselves before being publicly announced. That is, the Army General is telling one thing, the PM is telling one thing, and also the Foreign Minister is the Foreign Minister is telling, that is Qureshi is telling, like he is publicly telling the relation with the India in another way. So here India is not getting a clear view regarding how and to whom it has to be approached to start a dialogue, and until then India is holding back from itself to have a ties with Pakistan, so that a clear and a firm stand from Pakistan is expected by the India. The next editorial article is regarding the protest that has been carrying out in the Myanmar. Recently, the Myanmar government, that is the democratically elected government, has been overthrown by the military power. As we have seen that recently there has been a Myanmar's Armed Force Day, which has been attended by the India, China, and many other nations. But simultaneously, over 100 protesters were killed in junta to restore the by the military forces. Here, most of the nation, as India as well as China, are the major land border sharing nation of the Myanmar has not been like directly criticizing or condemning the violence that has been carried out in the junta. Here, the article stresses that um, both India as well as China are staying back and giving just a like diplomatic answer regarding the violence that has been carrying out in the Myanmar. So the article stresses that both the state like India and China has to come forward to bring a democratic as well as a peace and harmony in the Myanmar, so that the like it in the betterment of the people of Myanmar. Also, the protest here, the article stresses that the protest that has been carrying out now is totally different from that has been carried out in 1988 and 2007. Here, the protest has been that is the military power removed the democratically elected government and came to the power. That has angered the people of Myanmar. Because of that, the basic uh, like facilities like the banking system is on the brink of the collapse. With the most of the staffs are going on the strike. There has been galloping inflation. Industrial workers are on strike. And also along with that, there has been the country that is Myanmar is on standstill. It is not like uh, compromising itself with the military power. So with this unstable Myanmar, it is not good for the neighboring countries like India, because we have a relationship that is trade relationship, as well as the India is known for its peacekeeping nation. So India has to play a very vital role in bringing out the peace in the Myanmar in um, like by means of soft power, we can say. So the article overall says that what is the current condition of Myanmar, how it is different from 1988 and 2007, and what the role of India is in Myanmar. The next article is regarding the global, that is global climate change. Um, Recently, the global temperature has been increasing at a rapid pace when compared to the previously, because of greenhouse gases. That has in 2005, because of such an alarming condition in 2015, and UN, that is General Assembly, when it came with the Sustainable Development Agenda for 2030, was adopted. Next, along with it, in 2015, a Paris conference was held. Here, the Paris conference mainly concentrated towards the reducing the emission of greenhouse gases, and also bringing down the also uh, restricting the increase in the temperature of the earth. Like currently it is around 1.5 degrees, increase in 1.5 degrees Celsius, and it is on verge of reaching 2 degrees Celsius. So it is the duty of all it is duty of all the government, as all the nation, responsible nation, to held back the increasing temperature by 2 degrees Celsius, So here the role of India has a major part. India openly accepted the Paris conference and um, took an oath that it will adhere and it will meet all the targets of the Paris climate before the target given. Here, just out of the article, that is India has been concentrating over the solar energy. India is promoting the electrical vehicle, and also India is promoting the nuclear energy. By these development and improvement, India indirectly or indirectly reducing the emissions of carbon dioxide and other suspended particles, so that it reduces the like heat emission from the Indian subcontinent or Indian continent. Here, the author stresses that the treaty is in inequity. That is, first, the treaty is built into the climate treaty. That is, annual emission makes the India the fourth largest emitter, even though the climate is impacted by the cumulative emission, with India contributing only 3% when compared to the 26% of United States and 13% of for China. According to the United Nations, while the richest 1% of the global population emits more than 2 times the emission of the bottom 50%, India has just half its population in the middle class and per capita emission, and are eighth of those in US. The second is the diplomatic history of the climate negotiation. The longer term goals without the strategies to achieve them, as in the case of finance and technology transfer, solve a political problem but not a problem itself. So here the point is the finance and technology transfer, as the emission is uh, from past like uh, century, emission has been greater in the developed countries when compared to the underdeveloped or developed countries. Now it is hard for a underdeveloped as well as developing countries to drastically shift to the renewable or low emitting energies. So it is the duty of the developed countries to support the underdeveloped as well as developed countries, underdeveloped and developing countries in financial as well as technologically, so that the underdeveloped and developing countries can opt for better and efficient technology. The third model is on which the global policy recommendations for the developing countries are based consider achieving the reasonable or not comparable level of well-being to solve that early capping of energy use will not affect their growth, ignoring the cost on the poor. Here, the author also stress on the role of infrastructure. Here, that is, the infrastructure is a major, like we can say, the part in the emission of the a major part in the emission, that is global cumulative emission. The infrastructure has a defining role in human well-being, both because of the service it provides outside the market, and the way it shapes the demand distinct from the manufacturing and lifestyle, which alone are captured in the model projection. Here, the author tries to say that the infrastructure is much needed, but along with that, it is also having a major role in the emission part of the emission, that is the harmful carbon global greenhouse gases emission. Role of infrastructure of emission of greenhouse gases is major. Next is there is no substitute in the infrastructure area. There is no substitute for cement, steel, and construction material. So while manufacturing these, the emission of the harmful gases is has to be emitted. So reaching a net zero emission is and we can say an ideal target which is not able to meet it by any country. The third point, what the author says is because of its young population and late development, much of the future emission in India will come from infrastructure development and industrial development. We can say that India has missed the that is industrial revolution by and large, because India directly shift from the agriculture to the service sector, that is the in technological revolution we can see, as most of the US, United Nation, European nation, and Japanese have passed from the industrial revolution. So India is in need of industrial revolution, so that and so because of that, the infrastructure has a major role to play. So we can take an example of China during its course of industrial revolution, that is between 2000 to 2050. In the Chinese emission has been increased 3 times in this period. It is mainly driven by the infrastructure only. So here, what has to be the framework? Here, the framework is India must highlight the unique national circumstances with respect to the food, energy, and transportation system that have to change. Next, the author also stresses on the use of coal, its impact on its global emission and as well as global temperature. So overall, in the Paris Climate Agreement, the climate justice was regulated to preamble as a political, not a policy statement. It needs to be fleshed out with a set of big ideas. And also, the international cooperation should center on sharing the technology of electrical vehicle and hydrogen as a fuel, as they are the most efficient response to the climate change. The next one is the disqualification plea of Goa speaker. Here, from this article, it is completely political. So we have to understand what is the disqualification process for an MLA, how and who disqualifies him. Normally, the disqualification of MLA is carried out by the anti-defection law, which has been in force from 1985 under the 52nd constitutional amendment. The main intention of anti-defection law is to curb the evil of political defection. Here, the speaker has a power to disqualify the MLA. Here, in the government part, here when an elected MLA, for example, if we consider a MLA of BJP who has been elected after after becoming an MLA, if he changes the party, that if he joins hand with the Congress party, then he is termed to an anti-defection law, and he will be disqualified from that post. Again, a re-election will be held on that. And one like and also this all disqualification will be carried out by the speaker itself, Speaker of the House. Recently, 21 MLAs has been disqualified by the Speaker of Karnataka. But Supreme Court said that the Speaker's power regarding the disqualification of an MLA is not discretionary. It is under the judicial review. So we can say that the Speaker just mean to apply this disqualification law, and MLA can approach Supreme Court as well as High Court regarding against the anti-defection law. Here, the US to join talks to salvage the Iran deal. First, here we have to understand that what has been a progress regarding the Iran deal, and also what is an Iran deal. Recently, because it has been in news during a Trump tenure, and also recently the Joe Biden has been who has been appointed as a president of India, has promised to quickly rejoin the nuclear deal with Iran, and which is also known as Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, that is JCPOA. Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action has been signed in 2015 by the former president of Trump, which has been signed in 2015, but the former president, that is Trump, has been withdrawn from the this action, and also embarked on a policy of maximum pressure to seize Iran back to the negotiation table. The decision of the Trump has been which has been not agreed by all the members of the P5 nation. That is, the P5 nations are like British, like in France, Japan, and there are multiple nations. So recently, but the Joe Biden has promised that he is going to restore it, and he will be returning, like he will be providing the Iran to return to full compliances, and also return the US to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Here we have to relate the impact on India for the restoration of Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. The first and foremost, that is the boost to the regional connectivity. Removing the sanction may revive India's interest in Chabahar option, Bandar Abbas port, and also other plans for the regional connectivity. From Chabahar, India can have a connection with the Afghanistan as well as Central Asia. This would help India to neutralize the Chinese pressure in Gwadar port in Pakistan. Apart from Chabahar, India's interest in the international north-south transit corridor, which runs through the Iran, which will improve the connectivity with the 5 Central Asian republics and may also get boosted. Also, there has been an impact on energy security. Due to the pressure linked to the US, countering to the America's adversaries through Sanctions Act, India has to bring down the oil import to zero from Iran. As India's major oil importers are from Iran and Saudi Arabia, so restoring the ties with US, that may help India to procure a cheaper Iranian oil and aid in energy security. Like you have to get like here with the exam point of view, you have to know what is the Iran deal, who are the members of it, and all. And with respect to the like in interviews as well as group discussion, you should have a broader view of Iranian deal, how it has origin and all. So in the coming classes, daily we will cover up little bit of content in the Iran deal, and we'll cover a whole area, and later on we'll make a whole one video regarding the Iran deal, so that it will be helpful for you to revise in during the exam or during the SSB interviews. The next is the Ukraine urges NATO to speed up the membership. Recently, Ukraine president, that is Volodymyr Zelensky, on Tuesday urged NATO to speed up its country's membership in alliance, saying it is the only way to end the fighting with the pro-Russian separatists. First, you have to understand what is the NATO here. NATO is nothing but it is a North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which has been which has been an intergovernmental military alliance based on the North Atlantic Treaty, which was signed in the 1949. Here, the organization constitutes a system of collective defense where its member nation agrees to mutual defense in response to the attack by the non-member itself. In simple word, here the NATO, it is run by the United States, USA, and another part, that is the Russia, that is pro-Russian nation. If a Russia attacks to any of the member of NATO, that is, you can say France, England, and all, then US consider, or other member consider it is attack on themselves, so it will retaliate in collaborative way. So it is, we can say it is nothing but it is a collective action against the Russian power. The NATO's headquarters are located in Lepoid, in the city of Brussels, that is Belgium, where the Supreme Allied Commander resides. Here, the organization was formed as a mean, as I have said, to ensure the collective security in the Western Europe. And also, the NATO currently has 30 member countries, and Ukraine is trying to be the member and of NATO itself. This is the today's discussion of the Hindu. So you will be getting a brief idea how we should read the newspaper and all, and how you should relate that with the static part. Here you can just, like, important topics, you can just note it down. That is the what is the NATO, what has its role in European nation and all. Just brief idea regarding the Afghan deal, regarding the Afghan crisis, Iranian deal, and also the political part, that is the appointment of Chief Justice of India. So stay tuned, keep revising daily, day by day. The news will be repeating in the newspaper. So again, we'll be revising the same topic a little bit, so that it will be helpful for your revision and also to brush up your memory. Thank you.
जोश है हमें जान है और उमंगे है दिल में जवान, क्या कहे तुमसे दोस्तों कि अब तो जाना है हमको कहाँ। मैं उनको